everybody. I'm Elizabeth Eulberg, author of The Great Shelby Holmes, and I have some questions to answer for you guys. Are you a fan of the original Sherlock Holmes stories? Is that what inspired The Great Shelby Holmes? All right, so I have something to admit. I was not a fan of Sherlock Holmes when I was in grade school, and it's my brother's fault. When I was in, I think, 6th grade, my school did a Sherlock Holmes musical. And I was the one in my family who was musical. I play piano and clarinet and drums and guitar, and there were no roles for girls. And so I was in the choir, and my brother was Sherlock Holmes. So I was very much like, oh, Sherlock Holmes, And so I never really got into him. But then several years ago, I had a bunch of friends say, you should watch this TV show called Sherlock. And I was like, oh, Sherlock Holmes. And I decided to watch it. And within the first 10 minutes, I was like, yes, I forgot that Sherlock Holmes is brilliant. He's an amazing detective. And the funny thing about Sherlock Holmes is he's very smart, but his social skills could use some work. And all of a sudden, within the first 10 minutes, I thought, I wonder if I should write a story of Sherlock Holmes being a girl, like a 9-year-old girl. And that became Shelby Holmes. And now I'm like a huge Sherlock fan. I read almost all of the stories. I watched a bunch of different adaptations. I've read a lot of nonfiction books about Sherlock Holmes. So now I'm a Sherlock fan. Shelby, while incredibly smart, has awful people skills. Why do you think this character aspect is important to the story? Yes, Shelby could be a little prickly, shall we say. Shelby is really smart, but she is not great with people. And I think that's one of the reasons why John Watson is so great of a partner for her to have. Because while she has the smarts, he has a great heart and is really good with people. And she does kind of learn from John. Like while Shelby is teaching Watson all of these things about learning how to solve crime, in a way, John's showing Shelby how to be a better person. And I think that's important as well. So smarts aren't everything. She's working on it though. Is mystery your favorite genre of book? And do you have a favorite book within that genre? So when I was in grade school, I loved Encyclopedia Brown, Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys. As I got older, I didn't really read as many mysteries. I do now, but one of my most favorite mystery stories of the last 10 years or so is A Mysterious Benedict Society by Trent Lee Stewart. I love that book, and so I'm reading a lot more mysteries now. Do you think it is possible for a 9-year-old girl to solve crimes that the police cannot? And what might make kids good detectives? So Shelby thinks she can solve crimes the police can't. She is staying away from more of the, let's say, dangerous crimes that happen. But I do think kids make good detectives because kids ask a lot of questions. Adults are very set in their minds. They have certain ideas of things and they aren't really open to different ideas. And kids ask a ton of questions. I'm around my 4 and 6-year-old nephews and they're always asking who, what, why, when, where, how, why. And I think that's part of being a detective is that's what you have to do. You have to ask questions. So I think I always think people underestimate kids. They're a lot smarter than people think. And I think some of them make good detectives. I've met a lot in my school visits, kids who notice things. I'm like, you an undercover? Is this a spy school? The question is, what advice can you offer our young writers as they learn to improve their skills? Such a good question. So I have three pieces of advice for writers, young writers. First is read. Reading is so important, and read anything you can. I woke up this morning and one of the first things I did was sit down for an hour and read. And I'm reading this. 2 is do not be afraid of criticism. It's never fun when you turn a paper in and you get back and it says needs improvement, but that's the only way you're going to get better. With The Great Shelby Holmes, the first draft I sent to my editor, she came back with an 8-page letter of ways that can be improved. And I didn't handle it great at first, but it made the book so much better. So be open to criticism. And finally, the last thing for being a writer is to sit down and write and not give up. There are going to be days where you're going to be frustrated. I've certainly had those days, but I just never stop writing. And that's the most important thing is if you're blocked, go for a walk, do whatever, but don't stop writing. That's it. Thank you guys so much for listening to me. And I can't tell you how much it means for me to have The Great Shelby Holmes be on the Texas Bluebonnet Master List. It's amazing. And I'm excited to get out to Texas more and meet a lot of you face to face. Bye.